These bushes around my pond are Yews, Y-E-W. See how they're flushing out? Now, if you were limited in space across here, you would want to prune these back just before they flush out. Now, they've just started flushing out, but they're going to flush out, and this whole thing's going to be lime green. So, like with the boxwood, if you let it grow out and then cut all the new growth out, the plant has wasted a lot of energy. If you trim it back before it buds out, it will bud out and fill in where you made the cuts, unless you made severe cuts. And so you do get spaces in them, but you can't kill this with dynamite. One of the big problems is it has a lot of trunks in there and they catch leaves, and if you had it in a lawn, sometimes the branches are so low hanging that you have trouble getting a lawnmower under them. Forsythia bushes, you can't kill them with dynamite. They're sort of a hollow cane that makes all new shoots, and you can cut it to your heart's content. See where I cut it last year? It just pops out of the thing, and it did. Canes cut them out, but see how it gets out of hand? This should be about 5 foot tall. Azaleas come in all forms, all colors, fashion types and regular azaleas. They're great. The only downside is after they bloom, they're just a giant green bush. But when they bloom, they're pretty glorious. It just doesn't last but so long. Thing about azaleas is you can make all you want out of azaleas. You can grow them from cuttings, and next year they'll be like the ones they're selling in the stores for $5 or $6, and they almost all root. And what you have to do is take the new tender shoot. That's what wants to grow. You don't take bark, woody shoots. You take the tender shoots, dip it in water, dip it in root tone, and you can put it in any kind of sphagnum, sand, peat combination, but they root pretty easily. Now, if you had the time to prune these, is after they bloom. After they bloom, it's all going to be green foliage. You can trim it up if you need to. You should never take them back a whole lot, maybe 10 to 15% a year. So if it gets out of hand, you need to take them back a little at a time. But if you wait till the fall and prune them, you're cutting off all the flowers, because they set their flowers late in the summer. So you have to do your pruning after they bloom. That's, for a lot of plants, that's what you do. There's never a hard and fast rule, because somebody can say, well, here's a plant that doesn't set them to so-and-so. But azalea is a gorgeous plant. It lasts a long time, and they're easy to take cuttings from. And in Virginia, you would never fertilize these after like the middle of August, because it would make it, the nitrogen in the fertilizer would make this flush out, and when winter came, it would kill it, because it hadn't had time to harden off. My walking stick has all flushed out with leaves, which is a good sign. You don't really have to do much to them. They look great in the winter. They look nice when the leaves turn, and the curly branches is just absolutely beautiful. But it's sort of muted. It's a structure in the winter, and it's nice when the foliage comes out on it. And my poor boxwoods have definitely had trouble with droughts and overcrowding and all, and we're gonna cut all this dead out this year, and it's just gonna be a big walk through here. This is an American boxwood. It grows faster than the English boxwood. And see, it is starting to flush out. You can see the old green up here. That was caused from ice staying on it for a while, when we had a little freezing rains and things. And see, it's starting to flush out. Now, if your walkway was a little narrow to start with, and see, mine on the right is a little narrow, you'd want to clip that right back now. So when it flushed out, you wouldn't waste any energy, and it would fill in what you cut out. Now, if you wait another month and all this stuff is out here this far from all the new growth, and you shear it off, the roots don't have enough to come back and grow it again. That's next year, and you're going to have bare branches without leaves on them, and some of the branches can die. The little branches near the out edges. American box. And you need to basically shave the tops off on the sides, and so that when ice gets on it, it can shed off rather than just a big ball up here. But see, mine are different sizes and shapes and they need to be worked on. This is another yew. We cut it back with just electric hedge clippers, and we just start at the bottom and come straight up. We cut it straight across the top, and this end takes a lot of beating, and it just gets a little less sun, so it hasn't filled in like the other. That is a Euonymus. It got out of hand. It must have been 7-8 feet tall. I've cut the branches and carried them to my truck so I can take them to the landfill. And their landfill grinds all that up for mulch, and it's free as long as you're willing to shovel it. Euonymus is a great plant to have. It's pretty much a plant and forget plant. It doesn't take a lot of loving and caring. It does grow rather prolifically, and you have to keep it trimmed back. You can see my cuts in here. I've tried to cut this back to about 5.5, 6 feet, and the problem is when the branches get heavy, they shade other branches, like off that Forsythia, or it would shade hostas. And so you would take this branch and cut it all the way back, or cut it off at the main. One of the downsides with Euonymus, it gets scale in this part of the country, and you can see where it has had scale on it, and they're like little scarabs. You will see them on there. I saw one a little while ago, but it's really early for them, and you have to spray your plants with oil spray, and that seals the scarab on the branch and the stem, and you have to do it, I believe it has to be above 60 degrees or 65 degrees for like 24 hours or better for it to work. But that's the downside, and I tell you, they're not a bad looking plant. This one's gotten out of hand, and I'm cutting it back. Hollies, these are the ones we cut back last year. I call them stickle bushes. Wonder why. See those? They have stuck me 1,000 times. I hate them. My wife loves them. Well, my bride loves them. She's not here. I have to talk in third person. But they grow back, and you pretty much can't kill them with dynamite. As the branches die off, water can get in the trunks like that. These were here when we moved here in 1978. You can cut them off at the ground and they'll come up from the roots. They really can go to their hand.